Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I am your host, Franky Corcoran. How is everyone doing? Everyone enjoying the spring/summer so far? It's going to be a great one this year. Lots of stuff always going on. First off, thank you guys for tuning into the show as always. And just before we start, the plug that I want to do this week is encouraging all of you. Super excited for this. This actually happened. I already pre-recorded the podcast last week, so I was unable to acknowledge it, but I shared it on Facebook. We've been nominated for Excellence NB's People's Choice Awards. So excited for Best Podcast in the Best Podcast category. Such an honor to be nominated, and this is where I'm going to give my big endorsement speech. I'm just here to say that, if you like the Corcoran Entertainment Show, I always say to leave us a nice review rating. But if you really want to show how much you are enjoying the show and you want to support it, go to, we're going to put the link in the episode description to the excellencenb.ca page so you can vote for their People's Choice Awards. They have awards for numerous businesses across New Brunswick, best cafe, best burgers, and then when it comes to artists, best musicians, best theater company, you name it, they have it. So when you get to the podcast part, if you would give the Corcoran Entertainment Show a vote, it would be greatly appreciated. You can submit a vote once per day until May 18th in order to help us make it to the finals. So click that link in the description and feel free to support the show. That's probably the best way that you can do it until May 18th. And but really, I know it is kind of cliche to say, but it's just an honor to be nominated. I'm very grateful that we were chosen, and let's see where it goes from here. So thank you to everyone who has voted so far. But anyway, so moving on with the podcast today, my guest today, super excited. We had a great chat. I had such a great time with her today. She's a singer, songwriter, and musician from Toronto, whose latest single, Springsteen, is available now across all platforms. She has a lot of projects going on right now. We're going to put the link to her website in the show notes. Jessica Sevier, she was so much fun to talk to, and I just had a blast having her on the show. So be sure to go check out her website and keep up to date with all of her tour dates and things like that, and upcoming shows and all that good stuff. She has, as I said, she has a lot going on, and super deserving of all the success that's come her way. So later in the show, for our solo segments, I want to talk a little bit about James Cameron, probably the highest grossing filmmaker of all time, is being sued for a stupid reason. We'll talk about that. And Robert Downey Jr. has a pretty good take on influencers. I wanted to kind of give my thoughts on that. So anyways, guys, without further ado, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast today. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Franky Corcoran, and today I'm joined by a multi-talented country artist who is, she has had a slew of nominations. Some of them include Singer of the Year, Songwriter of the Year, Female Artist of the Year, and Breakthrough Artist of the Year at the CMAOntario Awards. And she also has her latest single out, which is called Springsteen. Very excited to have her on here today. Jessica Sevier. Jessica, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on. You're very busy, as a lot of the country, or not just country artists, but every musician, especially this time of year in May. Summertime, I find, is always the craziest time for artists. Is that accurate to say, or?
Yeah, it's kind of ramping up now. Like late spring, early summer is kind of when it all starts. Playing the shows. I just did my first show of the summer last night for Departure Fest, and yeah, it's just gonna keep going from here. I got some festivals coming up and a tour, so I'm gonna be on the road.
I always say that's the best for any artist when they say I'm busy, because there's so many periods whenever you're doing music, or whatever the case may be, that it's very slow and you're like, I don't like this, like so it's good if you say I'm so busy I don't have time for anything.
Hmm.
Is that a good or bad thing? How would you describe that?
I love being busy. I struggle when I have to like, kind of hang out and do nothing. It's my favorite thing to be busy and be on the road and be doing things and, doing interviews and doing shows. Like it's so fulfilling because it's my dream, Like my dream is to be a musician and play and just get my music out there. So when I have the opportunity to do that, I kind of soak it all in, and then, when it's a little bit slower in the winter, I'm kind of like missing it a lot.
And and then sometimes that just kind of comes with the territory. It's just you
Yeah.
just got to go with it best you can. Even actors and stuff like that go through that all the time, where they'll have a period that they're not getting any
Hmm.
work, and they're like, okay, what am I going to do with myself? Can I afford to have this much time off? Like
Yeah.
how do I kind of go about this? But thankfully you got lots to keep you busy around this time of year. But
Hmm.
your latest single, Springsteen, which I remember as soon as I first looked at that, I was like, at first, my first instinct for some reason was the Eric Church song, which was the first
Yes.
thing that I thought of. But that's not quite where it came from. Feel free to tell us a little bit about the origins of Springsteen.
Yeah, well, I love the
So
Eric
good.
Church song Springsteen. It's a great song. um, but yeah, Springsteen to me, like, it's a song all about my love for Springsteen and kind of how his music changed my life and saved my life from a period of like really bad depression and struggles with mental health. So yeah, like I remember being a teenager and just really struggling with depression. And it was the first time that I really had a bad depressive episode, and I didn't really know how to navigate that. And I'd come home from school every day, and I'd put on some music and put on my headphones and kind of just escape into a different world. And my favorite record at that time was "The River" by Bruce Springsteen, and I got really, really into it. I listened to it front to back like a couple times a day, and just didn't do my schoolwork, didn't really hang out with friends. I would just come home and listen to music, and that was the only way that I could get through what I was going through. And that album just really, really spoke to me. And then I kind of dived deeper into his catalog and listened to more and more and more. And it just kind of became the soundtrack to those years of my life. And now I could tell you every single word that was spoken on that record and all the songs. But I just loved it so much. And I don't know why the words spoke to me, because I never worked a blue collar job. I was a teenager, It was just the songwriting and the musicality of it that was just so beautiful to me. So I wrote this song with Ron LaPata and Andrew Allen, and it came together really super fast, like maybe like half an hour, because it was just like a journal entry for me. It was like, this is what happened, and this is how I was feeling, and then they were like, okay, and then we just kind of wrote the song, and it came out really well, and I'm just really proud of it. So it's my love letter to Springsteen, but it's also kind of a note for anyone that struggles with mental health. It's like, you're not alone. I'm here. I did this and I got through it. And there's always something that can get you through it. So whatever your Springsteen is, it could be music, it could be movies, it could be anything that kind of brings you joy in life and takes you away from your own problems.
So I'll write a song. I'm trying to think. It's so funny when someone says like, "Who's like your biggest influence?" I'm just like, so that's a good question, because like what it's like. Okay, it depends on what you're talking about. Is it musical?
Totally.
Is it theatrical? Is it movies? Is it podcast? Like whatever the case may be. Like that's always. But for you, it was so easily just Springsteen. Like that
Yeah.
was that ever a question in your head? Like who your biggest influence was?
No, never, because I think, once I found Springsteen, it was all I listened to and I was obsessed with it, and all I could think was, I want to write a song like this. I want to learn how to write a song like him, and I want to be this good. So, once I decided that like music was the only option in my life, I kind of always knew that, but once I kind of started writing songs, I was like, this is what I want to do. So I studied. I studied everything he'd ever done. I listened to all of his music, and I was like, okay, this is how he would word this, and this is how this happens. And so, yeah, like totally just my biggest influence, along with, John Mellencamp was another one that I listened to a lot. And, funnily enough, some 80s hair metal was another big thing that I listened to when I was a teenager. So that creeps into a lot of my new stuff that I'm very excited about.
Oh, that's yes, and John Mellencamp, my God, that's one. "Hurt So Good" is one of my all-time favorites,
Great
for
song.
sure.
Yeah.
And that's always the hardest. Like, anytime, I mean, like if you're doing an interview and they say like, "What's your favorite song? What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite this and that?"
Mhm.
And you actually have to stop and think. You're just like, "Can you not ask me that? Because I don't
I
know."
know. It's so hard. Like sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like I can't think of it on the spot. And then I say something stupid. And then I think later, I'm like, I hate that song. Why would I say that one? So it's so hard. But I think it's like, when you're on the spot, it's hard.
Yeah, no, you really just have to stop, think about it for a second, because yeah, people ask me that all the time, like what's your favorite movie? But now there's some instances that they'll ask who's your favorite actor, and for me, I always say my favorite actor is Bryan Cranston. For me, I'm like, that's an easy one for me. But then also when it comes to movies, I'm like, okay, because it changes all the time. Like I watch this one movie and I think it's the best thing ever, and then I remember the other movie that I watched that was really good, and I'm like, how do I decide this? And same with music, I can never decide what the best song is. I'm like, I think my favorite all-time singer ever is Frank Sinatra, which it's so funny. Two different genres, kind of colliding right here. Yours is Springsteen,
Totally.
mine's Sinatra. So like, it's kind of an interesting, but that's kind of the beauty of
Yeah,
art
but
is that it.
Bruce was inspired by a lot of that, like those 50s kind of era songs, because that's kind of when he grew up, right? So there's a lot of that influence with the horns on the music. So it's very, like, it's similar. Those are his influences. It's kind of fun.
But it's so funny when I tell someone that, they go, "How old are you?" I'm like,
Yeah, right. Well, same
26.
thing with Springsteen. It's like, how old are you? Like that was the 70s, that was the 80s, and I'm like, I know, well, I'm here.
Even like Johnny Cash too. Like people like Johnny
Yeah.
Cash, just because you like that, it doesn't mean that you were born in the 70s. It's just a timeless classic,
It is timeless music for sure, and I think that's what the most beautiful thing about it was, that like when I was 15 and 2016 or whatever it was, the music from 1980 still spoke to me, and it was still timeless, and it was still music that inspired me. So it's really cool. I love timeless music. I think a lot of music is timeless like that, and maybe my music will be like that one day.
My kids will be listening to Springsteen
Yeah.
in 10 years now, and not the Eric Church one.
No, the Jessica Sevier one.
Yeah, exactly. Because you said you love that song too, was there hesitation to call it the same thing? Or is it just, I mean, there's tons of songs
Yeah.
and movies out there under the same thing. I mean, who knows? There's probably another Jessica Sevier out there that we don't know about.
There actually is. There
Oh,
is
no
a
way. Is it
Jessica
really?
Sevier. Yeah. I don't think she's active anymore. But there was a time, I don't think she has any music on Spotify, but I remember I had to claim a profile somewhere and she had it first. And I was like, hey. And then I ended up getting the profile because she wasn't active anymore. But I was like, wow. And I think she's from like Illinois or something. I could be totally wrong. But she's from the States somewhere. And I felt really bad that I had to take the profile. But
I'm going to look
she
that up.
wasn't, she hadn't been making music anymore. She kind of stopped. So thank you for the profile, other Jessica Sevier. I really appreciate it.
Hope you don't mind me stealing your identity.
Oh my God, I know. But yeah, no, there was a hesitation for sure to call it Springsteen because there is, another Springsteen song, and it's hard to put someone's name. It could get lost in translation. But I think, there was alternate titles. I think we called it like the Springsteen song and whatever. But I think to me at the end of the day, it was like, no, this is what makes the most sense in my brain. It's just Springsteen. That's what the song is, and that's what it's all about. So I'm glad we went with that because people are loving it, and it didn't seem to affect us very much. But yeah, there definitely was like a question about it.
Well, there's so many songs out there that are called the same thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, how am I gonna, like, one of my favorite South Park episodes is the one The Simpsons did it, where they were gonna for those of you guys who remember the episode, Butters was as a super villain persona, and he's like, I'm gonna block the city from the sun, and they're like, oh, they did that on The Simpsons. He's like, okay, I'm not gonna do it now. And then he's
Oh my
just like, I
God.
need to find something that The Simpsons didn't do. And it's like, well, The Simpsons have done like 1,000 episodes.
I
They've
know.
done everything. You know what I mean? And the same with music. You're like, how many songs are there about someone said one time, someone said this, And as a country artist, I want to get your perspective. Someone said to me one time, I can't remember who, every country song nowadays is just about beer and love.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I kind of agree. There was a time when I was, in the studio with my producer, we were trying to figure out what to write, and we were going through like all of the charts because I was like, I want to do this and this, and we were looking at like kind of what female artists were doing, and it's like, well, it's either about good love, bad love, or hating. It's all about relationships, and it's true. I mean, I think there's a lot of that, but there's also a lot of like love for other things like Springsteen, and it's hard to find something that hasn't been done for sure, because music has been around for so long that so much has been done, but I maybe I'll find something that's a little bit different. Like Springsteen was different, and I'm very excited about the new record that's I guess it's all about relationships, but maybe there's hints of not that on there too.
I was gonna say there were hints of beer in there too.
You know what?
Got to
I've
write
never
it
talked
again.
about beer in a song. I had to think about it for a minute, but I haven't said beer, and maybe I'll keep it that way. I'm gonna try and be a little different.
What does everyone prefer? Songs about beer, songs about love, or both?
Yeah, beer and love, beer and trucks. That's another one.
Oh, trucks, yes. Beer, trucks, love, trucks, and beer.
Yeah.
In that order. I find love is always probably the first one. Because and I mean, like, some people will always say that that's all country music is nowadays and things like that. It's like, okay, maybe it is.
I think it's like all music though. I don't think it's just country music. Like all music has love. That's what it's about, because I think that's something that's overarchingly like relatable, because everyone goes through relationships, goes through different kinds of love, whether it's like familial or like with another person, like like romantic love, and it's I think that's just what everyone can relate to, and I think that's what people write about, because it's like so prevalent in everyone's lives. But yeah, I don't think trucks aren't as prevalent in everyone's life. Not everyone drives a truck, but love is.
Are you a car person? Are you a truck person? You drive a car, I take it then, do you?
I do drive a car. I'm good to drive. That's my song, "Good to Drive." That was my my nominated song, which is funny because like driving gives me anxiety, and I don't know why. I keep writing about driving. Good to drive. I talk about driving in one of my other motel, and it's funny. I do like to drive, but it does give me a lot of anxiety. Sometimes I cry. If there's too much traffic, I get upset, or like if it's scary, I get upset. But yeah, I do drive. I drive a Volkswagen. I've always driven Volkswagens. I've been lucky enough to work with Volkswagen on a few things. And they're just a great brand. So yeah, I don't have a truck, sadly, but I do love a Volkswagen. So I'll always be a Volkswagen girly. So
you'll have to write a Lainey Wilson type song, "Heart Like a Volkswagen" or something like that.
You know what? I did write a song with Volkswagen. It's like, I don't know if we had a title for it, but it goes like, "Take me back to the back of your Volkswagen." Maybe the first country song about a Volkswagen. Who knows?
Let's make that happen. I want this to be the first Volkswagen. Well, like what's that other song? I like it a lot. By what's his name? Blue Tacoma by what's the singer's name? I can't remember his name. Russell Dickerson. That's who it is. Yes. I was trying to think of the song. Like that one right there. I was like, okay. I said normally every song about trucks talks about Chevrolet or Ford or Dodge.
Yeah, I don't know. There hasn't been a Toyota one.
So I said, that's a very unique song. I said, that's the first song about unique. A different style truck, as long as it's not about the Honda trucks, because I don't like the looks of those. That's just me. You like looking at them?
Not my favorite. I will say that. That one and the Jeep one are not my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, the what do you call it? The Gladiator. Yeah. I was like, there's some. I'm like, I drive a Honda Civic, and I'm like, I prefer some makes of cars to just stick to one. Dodge. Yeah. You can stick to trucks. Hyundai, they got great SUVs. Honda got great cars. Don't try to go anywhere beyond that. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. There hasn't been a Volkswagen truck yet, has there? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. They have the ID Buzz, which is super cool. I got to drive one. Well, I didn't get to drive it. I was in the back seat of one. I was driven in one to go to TIFF this year, and they're gorgeous. I love the ID Buzz. But yeah, I wish they would bring back like a vintage style bus like the Westphalia, like bring back like a brand new one. It'd be really cool. But I know there might not be a market for it.
No, well, that's it. Well, I mean, who knows if you keep on writing about Volkswagen, someone might get the right idea.
Maybe they'll just make me one, you know? I'll just be like, listen, I want one, and I'll write a song about it if you guys make me one.
Anybody at Volkswagen listening right now,
Yes.
in I don't know, let's say 2029, I'm going to be driving. I'm gonna drive my Honda into the ground, and then you will see me driving a 2029 Volkswagen Sevier.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's going to be called. The Volkswagen Sevier.
I can't wait to drive one. I'm sure. Standard or automatic? Are you good for either?
Automatic. I do know. I've learned how to drive standard, but I think, with the driving that I do a lot in the city, I think it'd have to be automatic.
Yeah, well, it's so much easier. I tried to drive a standard one time, and I get road rage driving an automatic. Put me behind a standard, and I'm a different person.
I would be so angry. I think I'd just be really irritated, especially like in traffic. I'm just like, I just want to sit here and like listen to music and like try to not be irritated about the traffic. But if I was having to drive standard, I think I'd be just like, I would yell. I would cry. I would yell, and I'd be like, I'm never driving again.
Exactly. And it's so funny to hear, or maybe not funny, but it's really interesting to hear you talk about like driving anxiety, because I used to get that so much.
Yeah.
It's just like, driving in traffic, and sometimes it's not about you, it's about other people. You know what I mean? How long did it take you to kind of get over that? Or do you still deal with a little bit of it?
Definitely not as much anymore. I think, when I was like 20, 21, I was like really an anxious driver because I hadn't driven on the highway a lot, and, having to play shows with 4 guys yelling in the car and with all the gear and everything, that's very anxiety inducing, with the whole band in the car. But it took me a while to kind of relax about it. And, now that I've driven so much for a lot of shows, I'm kind of used to it. Sometimes I'll still get anxious about things, but, it's good to have some tunes on, just relax. And I'm kind of over it now.
So what's your go-to song in the car? If you're by yourself and you're singing, it's a long road trip, what's your go-to song?
That's such a hard question. I love a Bruce Springsteen song, like Racing in the Street. I know, I'm sorry. It's so basic of me. Like Racing in the Street is one of my favorite Springsteen songs. It really calms me down. Or like Stolen Car. Love those ones. Or like a Stevie Nicks song, like Gypsy. If it's sunny out, Gypsy. Or like, what I used to love a couple years ago when the sun was out and had the sunroof open, the windows down. You Can Call Me Al by Paul Simon. I love that song. It's so fun. I love a lot of like synthy, poppy 80s stuff in the summer because it's really fun. Like Stone in Love by Journey's another one. Sometimes like Feel Good in the summer is really great. Some Aerosmith. I love some Aerosmith in the summer when like Crazy, with the windows down, I'm driving through the city. That's one of my favorites. There's so many. I love listening to music in the car. I love listening to a lot of my demos in the car too because I want to hear how they sound when I'm in the car and driving. A lot of my own stuff sometimes. It's a little embarrassing to admit, but you got to do it. You got to know how your song sounds in the car with the windows down.
But was that an adjustment too, to listen to your own stuff and not be like, because everyone has that when they hear their own voice and they're like, oh my fuck, that's how I sound, And did you have lots of that?
I used to hate it. I think like a while ago, a couple years ago, I would just be like, oh, I can't listen to that again. I don't want to hear it. But I think it kind of changed when I started this new project, and I really had spent a lot of time working on my songwriting and working on the music and trying to find a sound that I really, really wanted to, continue with. So I think once I started doing that, it kind of changed, and I was like, this is actually something that I would really love to listen to. Like, I love all of my music. I think they're indicative of different parts of my life for sure. But I think now where I'm at, I've really crafted a sound that I'm really, really proud of, and it kind of brings in a lot of my influences in different ways. And I'm like, you know what, hell yeah, like this is something that I would love to listen to. So I've kind of gotten over that kind of fear of listening to my own music. And I you know, shamelessly listen to a lot of my own music. I do, because I love it. It's really emotional, and I think once I write a song and I'm kind of in that headspace, I just want to listen to it and listen to it to be like, okay, is that right? And it's a lot of analyzing it too. It's a lot of like over analyzing, be like, is that the right word? You know, and it's kind of the best place to do that, because I'm distracted. I have the time to listen to it instead of sitting at home and like, sitting on the couch and be like, okay, is that right? It's like in the car, I'm in my element, I'm relaxed, I'm just driving, I'm not thinking about a million other things, and I'm like, okay, this is good. And it's just my favorite place to listen to music.
It is good too, yeah, and I find maybe it would be even worse to listen to it and overanalyze after it's been released, because you're like, well, shit, I can't change it now.
After it's been released, no. I don't listen very much.
Good. I was going to say
I don't listen very much because
overanalyze. I'm going to change that lyric. Oh shit, no, it's already got like
it's mostly like writing demos, early mixes that I listen to, just because I'm like, what can I change about it? And then once it's released, I kind of have to be like, listen to it once or twice, but not too many times, because if you find things you want to change about it, then you're just going to go crazy.
Yeah,
you can't.
And that's what like as artists we can be. Maybe not nitpicky, but we're nitpicky. I guess that's one way to put it. Like, oh crap, my voice sounded like a cracked right there, even though it didn't, and you're just it just drives you crazy. Is there another pet peeve you have about some of those things, like, oh crap, the lyric didn't sound right, or oh my god, is that how I sound? Like, are there any others that kind of come to mind?
Yeah, there's a lot. I went to audio school, so I'm very nitpicky about different audio things within music. And so the biggest things that really irritate me, I've always been a singer, and singing is like the biggest thing for me. When I listen to a song, I want to listen to my voice. The things that I am really nitpicky about within my music is like vocal comps. So if I can hear where it's been cut up, or like where it's been, comped within the mix, I hate it. I go immediately, nope, change that. Like, pull out the phrase. I don't want to hear a comp. And, I listen to that in any music, not even mine. I listen to it in every single song that's ever released. I go, I can hear what they comp that vocal. So that's something that I'm really nitpicky about within my own music, is just, if I can hear it. So I listen to it with like in headphones, in my car, like on big speakers, so I can see how it sounds on everything. Because sometimes you can't hear it in the car, but you can hear it when you have your headphones on. You can hear the comp of the vocal. I'm like, no, let's change that. Let's nudge it a bit, or like let's completely, redo that phrase because we didn't get a good one in the take we had. And then another thing that I'm very nitpicky about is vocal tuning. If you can hear where it's been tuned, like if you can hear the auto tuning, you can hear the kind of like weirdness of it from that. I hate that. I try and get away with very little tuning on my music, because it really irritates me if you can tell that it's been tuned. But you have to tune to compete with the masses, right? Like, you can't put out a song that doesn't have a vocal tuning on it, because everyone can tell, and then it doesn't sound as good as the other song that they're listening to. But yeah, if you can hear a little bit of like an audio wave that's like a little bit tuned, that's something that I hate. And I go, nope, change that one. Let's retune it, or like completely just comp that vocal differently. So I'm very nitpicky about things, little things, and like breaths. If a breath's in the wrong spot, I'm like, no, let's nudge it one way. And it's just so everything has to be very perfect for me. I'm very perfectionist. And if something sounds a little bit off, I'm like, why does it sound weird? Like, I don't like that. It's very funny.
This episode of the Corcoran Entertainment Show is brought to you by Holy Hydrogen. Okay, guys, let's be real. We all try our best to stay hydrated, right? But not all water is created equal. That's where Holy Hydrogen comes in. They've got this awesome device called the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium Edition, and it takes clean water to the next level by infusing it with molecular energy. That means you're not just drinking water. You're giving your body extra support with every sip. Better energy, less inflammation, and a real boost to your immune system. So try the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium Edition today by going to shop.holyhydrogen.com/Corcoran and use the promo code Corcoran for $100 off your purchase. Again, that's shop www.holyhydrogen.com/Corcoran and use the promo code Corcoran at checkout. Stay hydrated and stay healthy. Well, and it's not really a bad thing, because it's like this is your baby. This is what you've poured your blood, sweat, and tears into. And so to say it's nitpicky, it's like, okay, maybe it is. I think it'd be different if you were nitpicking someone else's. Like if you were listening to someone else's and go, okay, listen, you have to change that. You have to change this and change that. You're just like, no, you don't get to tell me what I do with my, depending on who the person is, I guess. Like, constructive criticism is like, it's something that, it's a big adjustment for some people, especially going into the arts. Was that a big adjustment for you, like handling constructive criticism? Someone saying like, oh, Jessica, that didn't sound right. You need to fix this. And you're, like some people might take that stuff the wrong way and go, oh, it means I'm terrible. It's like, no, that's not what we're saying. It just means that, we want you to adjust and take this into consideration. Like how big of an adjustment, if at all, was that to you?
Not a huge adjustment. I think, I grew up taking vocal lessons and going to school for music. And so there's a lot of criticism within that. And I grew up doing my Royal Conservatory for vocal. So I'd go and I'd have to do my exams. And the whole thing was just, criticism about what I was doing and critiques here and there. I'm like, so I kind of grew up in that world, and it wasn't, really any different when I started making my own music, and I would get critiques from producers and managers and writers. And so I've always kind of been open-minded to that because of how I grew up doing music, in lessons and exams and very strictly in school. Because, classical music is strict. It's very strict. And teachers can be mean, and you just kind of learn how to have a thick skin within those worlds. So it translated very well for me into contemporary music when I made that switch, because I kind of just already did that. It's sometimes it's hard. Like sometimes you're like, oh wow, I really thought I did well here, but and you always have to take it with a grain of salt too. Like it's if you really liked something but someone didn't, you can say that. You're like, no, I like that. Like that's gonna work for me, and I'm sorry you don't think so. But it's always kind of, it's everyone has an opinion.
Oh, no matter what. And, it kind of goes back to, just because someone else doesn't like it, that doesn't mean it's not good. Some people, it's just not for them. It's kind of like us talking about how like, oh, I don't like that country song because it just talks about love trucks and beer again. And I'm just sick of hearing that. It's like, okay, not saying it's bad. There's people who love that and they will eat that up. It's just, for some people, it really is there a song, or maybe not a song, but any piece of entertainment or something like that you absolutely love, but someone else hates, or vice versa? You hate something and someone loves it, and you're like, what, why is there such a divide here?
I mean, I can say that about 80s hair metal. I love hair metal. I love Poison and Cinderella and Motley Crue and all those guys, and Warrant. But a lot of people hate it. Like I think with hair metal and that kind of era, like the glam metal era, you either love it or you hate it. There's no in between. Because some people will be like, oh, that's not real rock and roll, that's pop, that's too, they wear makeup, they have long hair, and some people don't think that's rock and roll, and people hate it. And some people like grunge, but I felt like grunge took away hair metal from me, so everyone has a different thing, but I think you have to love what you love. And I love musical theater things. A lot of people don't like musical theater. It
really?
Just kind of is what it is. Yeah.
What musical theater thing do you love the most?
I love Grease and Hairspray. Those are my two favorites. I'm not really hugely into musical theater, but as a child, I used to watch Grease every single weekend. It was every Friday was Grease Day, and I'd watch Grease. And then Hairspray came along, the movie, in 2011, I think it was, something like that, 2009. I could be totally wrong, but I remember watching those DVDs and just loved the music. And then kind of discovered more when I was in high school, and music classes, we'd have to do musical theater, and I kind of loved all that sort of stuff. I just love the how fun it is, and that's kind of why I love it. But a lot of people don't like it.
And it's, as we said, like, it's like not saying it's bad. Like, oh, you're saying
No,
Grease is bad. You're like, no, it's just not for me. Now,
it's
there's
not
some
for you.
people, there's some instances where it's like, okay, I think that is bad. I don't think this is
Mhm.
good. And then there's some instances like, yeah, it's well done, but it's just not my cup of tea. Like there's two
Yeah.
different ways to look at that.
Totally. And I feel like a lot of that, like horror movies, I think they're beautifully done. Like, I think it takes a lot of skill to make a great horror movie with good visuals and sounds and everything, but not for me. I could never watch one. I hate them. They make me uncomfortable and scared, you know? So I think it's so true. Like, things can be cool and well done, but they're just not my cup of tea, you know?
Well, and the same can apply with humor. Like there's different like comedians or different
Yeah.
like TikToks or things like that people some people might laugh at a certain like memes about work or something like that,
Yeah.
and some people don't like it. Maybe they're unemployed and they don't get it. I don't know. Like it could be. I don't get that. It's like, okay, you don't work, so you don't get it.
Yeah.
But there's things like that. How about humor? Is there like humor that you find funny that some people just it's just not their cup of tea, or vice versa?
Honestly, I'm not really into comedy and like humor stuff. I always like, I don't know, I love a funny TikTok. Like I couldn't tell you what a funny TikTok would be right now, but I don't know, I'm not hugely into comedy. I never have been. Um, I just think sometimes it's silly. Like, I'm like, that's dumb. I don't know. Like it's, I don't know. I'm not like a joke kind of person. I don't tell jokes. I think I'm too serious
But
sometimes.
this is a funny podcast, and you're like, yeah, she. That's so funny. Jessica's so funny on here, and then she's like, "I don't like comedy." I'm like, "But you're
I
making, but we're laughing this whole time." I'm like,
I know. I think you know what, to me comedy is like funny moments in life where you make a funny sarcastic comment. To me that's comedy, I guess. But yeah, like I wouldn't tell a joke and think it's funny, be like, and then this happened and haha. I don't know. I've never been hugely into that, but I think there's like some funny movies and like TikToks I find funny. Like short, little videos are funny sometimes.
right, and like we said, like just because you're not too into it, that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just
No.
it's just not your cup of tea.
Just not my
Uh,
thing. I wouldn't sit down and watch stand-up comedy. Like I know some people do that, and that's great. Like I can find a laugh here and there and those kind of things when I see clips online. But yeah, I wouldn't sit down and watch something like that. And that's someone else's art. Like someone could love that so much, and they might not like my music. That's totally fine. It's totally different strokes for different folks.
Different, yeah, no, exactly. I love that. Different strokes for different folks. That's good, and that's no, that's absolutely the case with everything. And it's good,
Hmm.
for people to just kind of have an open mind. Who knows? There might be people comparing your Springsteen versus Eric Church's Springsteen. It's like they're two
Totally.
different. Like it's like, okay, like you like one or the other, okay. But in some instances they're not really comparable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're very different songs, and people might be comparing them. That's totally cool. I don't mind. But yeah, they're totally different songs and different meanings and different writing. And yeah, I think they're hard to compare. But if someone's doing that, thanks for listening to my song.
Perfect. She appreciates it
I
very
appreciate
much.
the listen.
Good for business.
Yeah.
So, Jessica, what can you tell us about what's coming up? So, as we said, you got a pretty busy summer.
Ah,
So, of course, you got on June 13th coming up. You will be performing over at the Cameron House, and
mhm.
among many other things coming up. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Cameron House, June 13th for North by Northeast. I'm very excited about that, to be back at the Cameron House. I just did a residency there in November, so it's great to be back. June 6th, I'm headlining Prior Palooza in Prior, Ontario. I was there a couple years ago, and I'm grateful they've asked me to come back to headline, so that was so fun. And then, I head out on tour with Ryan Langdon across the UK in September that I'm very, very excited about. We both play the British Country Music Festival, and then we head out on our co-headline little run across the UK after that. I'm very, very excited about. It's gonna be so fun.
That's super exciting. I'm so happy for you and all the success that's coming your way. And guys, be sure to go check out her songs. We're gonna put the link in the episode description to her website. You can keep up to date with all her tour dates and upcoming projects and things like that, and her social media and stuff like that as well. Yeah, lots going on for you. Lots going on, and I'm super happy to see it because it always makes me happy to see someone who's you know they wanted something, they went for it, and now it's paying off.
Yeah.
So
It's been a long road.
Long road. Exactly. It's been a long road, and you've certainly made a great name for yourself too, and playing all these different shows and stuff like that coming up. So, congratulations on all of that. And thanks for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to chat with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
And I just still find it so funny. She is the funniest person who doesn't like comedy. I just find that so funny.
I think maybe comedy has to be natural.
Yeah, exactly. You're just naturally funny. That's how it comes.
I guess so. I guess I'm naturally funny. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. If for whatever reason you don't want to do music anymore, comedy's always an option. So just
maybe comedy is the option for me.
If the music doesn't go well, but I mean,
yes.
the road you're going on now, with how it's going, I think you don't got to worry about that. So yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to come on. I really appreciate it. Guys, we are going to take a short break. We will be right back. But until then, this is Franky and Jessica signing off. Cheers. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Corkin Entertainment Show. That was me and Jessica Sevier. Thank you so much, Jessica, for coming on. And everyone be sure to go click the link in the show notes to her website and keep up to date with all of the amazing stuff she continues to do. She's so funny. She was just so funny and just was a delight to talk to. So thank you so much, Jessica, for coming on. I really appreciate it. So moving on to the first discussion topic of the day, our solo commentary segment. First one, it's actually, I'm surprised how divisive this one has kind of become. I'm seeing a few different perspectives on this. So Avatar, it's no secret that Avatar is a juggernaut, gigantic smash hit success. First one is the highest grossing movie of all time. The second one's and third one are up there. They're doing a fourth one. And so just absolutely massive successes. Great actors in it and everything, of course. Zoe Saldana, among many others. But it was so funny when I read this today. So essentially, the actress, and I'm so sorry that I might butcher this name, Q'orianka Kilcher. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Q'orianka Kilcher, German-born, alleges that in 2005, when she was 14, James Cameron, quote unquote, extracted her facial features from a photograph of her portraying Pocahontas in another film, The New World. This article is from BBC.com. In court documents filed on Tuesday in California, her team claimed Cameron directed his design team to use it as the foundation for the character of Neytiri, depicted on screen by Zoe Saldana. So essentially, this is kind of a crazy concept here. So essentially, Kilcher is suing James Cameron because the character of Neytiri looks very, very similar to her. So my first thought, before I read any of this, my first instinct was, the world doesn't revolve around you. What are you thinking? That was my first instinct, was to say that. But now that I look into it, this is where it kind of gets a little more interesting. So James Cameron, where he screwed himself is that he outright actually admitted recently that is the case, that he actually, that the character's design is based on Kilcher. He straight up admitted that. So now she is seeking compensation, damages, and a share of profits for this whole situation. And the legal claim here reads, this case exposes how one of Hollywood's most powerful filmmakers exploited a young indigenous girl's biometric identity and cultural heritage to create a record-breaking film franchise without credit or compensation to her through a series of deliberate, non-expressive commercial acts. So this is just my take on it. I think, now listen, had James Cameron not said anything at all, had he not said anything at all, this wouldn't be a problem. But James Cameron openly admitted that, yes, that I based the character's design, or like I was inspired or whatever, it was based on Q'orianka Kilcher. So the fact that he admitted that is kind of what that's kind of how he shot himself in the foot in this type of situation. Because look, a lot of people look the same. You know what I mean? When I was in high school, people said I looked like Ed Helms, Stu from The Hangover. They said that's who I looked the most like. And so it would be like me then now going of, oh, they based the character's design on me, or even though it's a real person. Or no, let me think of a better example, actually. Better example would be, let's say, who's a character, who's like a nerdy type character with glasses, who kind of looks like me. I can't really think of one. Just for shits and giggles, I'm just going to say, geez, that's weird. Why can't I think of a character that has glasses in animated? Animated characters with glasses. Now, let me look here. Okay, how about this? How about the old guy from Up? What's his name again? What's the guy's name again? I don't know. Oh, no. Okay, how about this? I got this one. Simon from Alvin and the Chipmunks. We both have glasses. If I was a chipmunk, I probably look like Simon. Let's just say, for example, I'm like, oh, they based Simon off me. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, what are you basing that off of? Like what evidence do you have to say or to show to prove that you deserve compensation because they based the character's design on you? It's nothing. It's just all it means. The only evidence, it doesn't prove that what they did was illegal. What it proves is that you are a narcissist. It just proves that you are egotistical, and that's really all that comes down to. But the only reason, so had James Cameron not said that, she probably would have just came across as just a narcissist, just saying they deserve because I look just like that character. It's like, okay. So I understand from, everyone's perspectives of like, oh, she's just bitter, she's just jealous. That was my first thought when I first read this whole situation. I said, that's just ridiculous to say that. But then when you have the director of the film openly admit that that's who he based it on, that's where it becomes a bit of a tricky situation, because now it's, okay, the film's success and that character's success and everything. If you based it on her, okay, I see where they're coming from, that she deserves some sort of compensation in some way, shape, or form for that, so in legal terms, in the legal sense, it makes absolute complete sense. So what's going to come of it? I really don't think it's going to be as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. People are making it out to be like, oh, they're going to take her to trial, or she's going to take James Cameron to trial. No, I don't see it being that. I think they're going to pay her something but ultimately, I don't think this court case is going to be something that major. But it really did kind of bring up an interesting situation, which is just that, it's one of those things that, it's very, very easy to just say that she's a bitter fan. It's just, or not a fan, like she's just bitter that, the character looks like her and she's not the one playing her, and that she has some sort of agenda to, maybe she auditioned for the role and didn't get it, and now this is her. I don't know. There's probably more to it that I'm not privy to. And none of us do. I certainly do not have any type of exclusives. They would never trust me with that information. But yeah, it is a very, very unique situation, and it's one that I wasn't going to really talk about until I started thinking, okay, but James Cameron is the one who openly admitted it, and that's kind of what drove it home. Had he not admitted it, we wouldn't even be talking about this today, because one of the things that people mention is, well, why is this coming up now? The movie's been out for nearly 20 years now. Why is it just coming up now? And there's been 3 movies, a 4th one on the way, and like now we're finally talking about this. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. Be like somebody, using the Simon from Alvin and the Chipmunks example. Maybe someone had a pet chipmunk way before Alvin and the Chipmunks was created, and they named it Simon, and then they used that for Alvin and the Chipmunks, and they sued them today. Alvin and the Chipmunks was made in what, the 80s, 90s, something like that. You're going to sue them now for it? Yeah, you're kind of too late, but the fact that these comments of James Cameron were so recent, these were recent comments too. So that's what kind of screws him over in that way. So do I think anything major is going to come from it? I don't think anything major is going to come from it. I think they're going to pay her something. What that will be, I don't know. Is it going to be put James Cameron on the verge of bankruptcy? No, nothing like that. But just one of those types of situations that, yeah, like yes, it's one thing for me to say that, okay, if I'm writing a script or whatever, it's one thing for me to say, like, okay, in my mind, I have this person in mind for that role. Maybe I use a major Hollywood actor to voice this character here just in my mind, so it makes it easier to write it. But if the book or the play goes on to be a smash hit, and then I come out afterwards and say, oh yeah, that character was based on so-and-so. I mean, now granted, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere in Canada. No one's going to know. But, if I did it to like a local actor or something like that, So it's just one of those things of just be careful what you say. And if you're going to openly admit like what inspired you to this, just keep in mind all the, cover your tracks, I guess. Maybe that's the best way to put it, is cover your tracks, because I'm sure this is probably something that James Cameron never thought would ever happen. Like Avatar, as I mentioned to that comment that someone made, which is that Avatar has been out for 20 years and now we're making a big deal of this. In his mind, he never expected that this was going to happen, and then he just let it slip in a conversation, and then boom, this whole thing is happening. So, yeah, it is what it is, but, highest grossing filmmaker of all time, he's going to be just fine. They're going to do another Avatar movie. It's going to be wildly successful like the last 3. And, Kilcher, say she's a bitter fan if you want, or I keep saying bitter fan. She's just bitter. Say that if you want, but, in when it comes to, the legal world, she has a point and she has a strong case. So that's just where I stand on that. But be sure to let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. Do you think she's justified? Do you think it's a bit narcissistic? Whatever you guys think, definitely hop on social media, comments, and be sure to let me know what you think about that. The Corkin Entertainment Show is brought to you by Podmatch, the ultimate platform designed to connect podcast hosts with prospective guests effortlessly. Are you a podcaster looking to elevate your show to new heights? Or perhaps you're a guest hoping to share your story with a broader audience? Whatever your podcasting goals are, we have the perfect solution for you. Podmatch simplifies the entire process of discovering guests for your show or finding podcasts to feature your expertise. Now imagine a platform where you can easily match with like-minded creators tailored specifically to your niche. With Podmatch, you can effortlessly network with influencers and thought leaders, all while staying true to your podcast vision. There are a multitude of ways that Podmatch can help you grow your brand. You can be part of a thriving community of podcasters and potential guests. Engage, collaborate, and grow together. If you're ready to experience these fantastic benefits for yourself, we invite you to join Podmatch today. Head over to www.joinpodmatch.com/ Corcoran Entertainment and sign up right now for only $6 a month. That's right. You heard me right. $6 a month. Join the Podmatch family today and watch your podcast soar to new altitudes. Thank you for tuning into the Corcoran Entertainment Show, and happy podcasting. And so moving on to our last solo discussion topic today is going to be talking about some comments that Robert Downey Jr. made recently about influencers. And it kind of sparked a little bit of an interesting debate that I wanted to kind of give my thoughts on. So Robert Downey Jr., of course, is Robert Downey Jr., you know, one of the greatest actors of all time, Oscar winner now. He's Iron Man. We're going to see him again in Avengers Doomsday. One of the highest paid, well-known actors in the world, in Hollywood. Like, hands down, there's nobody quite like him. So he was on a podcast just recently, and he gave his thoughts on, so the article that I'm reading this off of is from Variety, and it says, Robert Downey Jr. says it's absolute horseshit, they censor the shit, to declare that social media influencers are the stars of the future. So now, first off, before we delve into this, just know this is his opinion. And, you know, I've, much like the James Cameron situation, I'm seeing a few, you know, some people are being very divisive on it, and I get it, you know, but there was one comment in particular that I saw, I believe it was Reddit, and I'm kicking myself in the ass because I didn't screenshot it, and I can't remember where I got it from, Reddit, YouTube, it was a comment or whatever, that will kind of tie into all this. But basically, I'm getting off track here. So the article says, so he appeared on the Conversations for Our Daughters podcast and shaded social media influencers by saying it's absolute horseshit to declare them the stars of the future. And he says, I don't look at that as a negative thing. I just look at it more as the challenge for individuation is being upped. So he talks a little bit more about that. Yeah, but it's just not my thing. I want to go do something. I'm going to make something. I want to build something. I want to educate myself, and I want to have more input. So whatever my output is, it just isn't a self-aggrandizing kind of influencer type thing. So when I hear people talk about, oh, the stars of the future are going to be influences, I go, I don't know what world you're living in, but I think that's absolute horseshit. So that's Robert Downey Jr., what he says about that. And the comment that I was talking about that I'm kicking myself in the ass for not screenshotting or anything like that, because it is a really, it was one that I was like, oh, geez, really? You know, someone said, well, it's easy for him to say because he's got lots of money and he doesn't have to worry about whatever, you know? It's like, okay, but, you know, first off, Robert Downey Jr. didn't get that overnight. Robert Downey Jr., to be fair, this was all his fault for the most part. You know, like everything that he went through before his resurgence, you know, the drugs, the weapons, the arrests, getting fired for his behavior and all that stuff like that. All that was his fault. And he took accountability for that, and he built his career back up from scratch. Essentially, he was stripped of everything, gained it all, stripped it from it all again, and then he eventually had to work himself back up to where he is now, where he's an Oscar winner. He's one of the highest paid actors in the world. He got a second chance, and we're very glad he did. What he's getting at is that you have like social media influencers, and this is someone for me. I grew up watching Vine. I grew up watching all these. I still watch funny TikToks that don't really have too much to say. But that's one of the things. They don't have much to say, but they make millions off of it. One of the stories I heard, like this is something that it's kind of gross, but it's kind of goes to what he's saying here. There's people online who make millions of dollars and get millions of views for farting. What did I read? It was someone got rich for selling their farts in a jar. You know what I mean? It's like, and we're going to say that's the future. You're going to say, oh, I worked so hard for this. It's like, dude, all you did was fart. That's all you did. You didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's absolutely pitiful in that regard. You know, like when you have influencers that they don't really have much to say in terms of, you know, like they just go on and they just whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, it's just something so stupid, as I said, like farting in a jar or whatever the case may be, and they're making millions of dollars off it, and you're going to say that's the future? I agree with them. I do agree with them in that regard. Now, I mean, like, to each their own. There are people who will say that, well, influencers, whatever, it's a job, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's great. I'm just saying that I do completely understand where he's coming from, in the sense that there are people nowadays that make millions of dollars for what? There's people who bust their ass, working in the industry and things like that, who are working for 10 years and they're still struggling to get recognized. Meanwhile, you have people, like I mentioned, farting in jars and doing all of this stupid shit, and they're making millions of dollars and literally retiring off it. Like, what? Like, what? Like, that makes zero sense. Like, it's just absolute asinine to me to think about that. So I'm just here to say that I do completely understand where he's coming from. And, this isn't to bash influencers, because I have a lot of fun watching TikToks and things like that. But I think he's talking about some of the ones. Now, don't get me wrong. Influencers, a lot of them work hard. They do work hard. I'm more so talking about the ones that clearly it's just all they're doing is just the simplest thing and making millions of dollars off it. And meanwhile, you have people who are busting their ass in the industry and sometimes can barely make the rent because they can't get recognized or whatever. And then you have the influencers doing some pretty trivial things that, it's like, why are you thriving and I'm not, type thing, So... But anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. That's kind of a interesting topic that I really wanted to touch on. It was an interesting quote from Robert Downey Jr., and I admire that, he's, as we say on the show a lot, is that freedom of speech is a big thing too. And it's something that a lot of like comedians and people who work in entertainment are kind of losing because of who's in office and things like that. So it's a really crazy world we're living in, but I really do admire his honesty for this situation here. So be sure to let me know what you guys think about that. Do you agree with Robert Downey Jr.'s comments that influencers being the future is just horseshit? Like, where do you kind of stand on that? I'd be interested to see what y'all think. So that's going to do it for the podcast today, guys. I want to thank my guest, Jessica Sevier, for coming on. Be sure to go check out her website in the episode description. Be sure, if you like the Cork and Entertainment Show, don't just leave us a nice review or rating, but be sure to go vote us Excellence NB. We're going to put the link to that as well in the show notes. Go vote us for Best Podcast. It's an honor to be nominated and included amongst the other amazing nominees in each category. Thank you guys very much, as always, for the support. Our next production, The Ladies Foursome, tickets are still available. The link is also in the description. And also Rock and River Fest. Lots of stuff going on. Very, very happy to be keeping busy with all this stuff. So thank you all for listening. We'll see you guys in the next episode. But until then, this is Franky signing off. Have a good one, everyone.